everyone, and welcome back to Black and Classic Podcast. I am your host, Brittany Monet, where we talk everything politics mixed in with a little bit of pop culture. And today, let me tell y'all, I got something for y'all. And now, let's be clear, okay? I had no intention of talking about this. My whole point of sitting down was to give you guys a rundown on the Democrats. That was my plan. But in the middle of that, right? I got to discover something and I said, "Oh, I can't. I cannot ignore what I've just learned about. I can't. I have to bring this to y'all." So, I went on this big deep dive about an act that was passed in 1996 under the administration of Bill Clinton, and let me tell y'all, it is crazy. So, what I did, because I like to have receipts, okay, is I printed out the bill, not all pages, because let me tell you, it was 251 pages, and I was not about to print out every single page. I printed out what I needed that was relevant to the topic that I wanted to discuss, and yeah, we just gonna get into it, all right? So now, the first line of the law is something that struck me immediately, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna have to talk about this. First line. The Congress makes the following findings. Marriage is the foundation of a successful society. Okay. All right. Next line. Marriage is an essential institution of a successful society which promotes the interests of children. Okay. Fair enough. If you believe that, I believe that. That's great. However, we scroll down. Now, mind you, this act, you know what? I'm not gonna give it to y'all yet. I'm not gonna give it to y'all yet. Let's go down a little bit. That was point one. Point two, we're gonna skip three, we're gonna skip four. A little irrelevant. Let's go to point five. The number of individuals receiving aid to families with dependent children, in this section referred to as AFDC, has more than tripled since 1965. 89% of children receiving AFDC benefits now live in homes in which no father is present. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. This act was supposed to be something that was going to reform the act that Franklin D. Roosevelt put into effect called the Social Security Act, right? Sounds beautiful. When you go to democrat.org, they glamorize it. Oh, Roosevelt, he put this in, Clinton came behind him, and he proposed this. And I believe the full name is some long ass shit, but what they refer to it is PRWORA. I'm going to call it Clinton's law because, babe, I'm not going to keep saying that over and over again. So Clinton has this law and is supposed to reform the Social Security Act, make it better, give solutions, because clearly there was evidence that shit was getting out of hand. So they said, hey, let's reform this and make it better. We're going to slow walk this because off that line alone, I said, oh. So you already knew providing this aid was making it to where fathers were no longer in the home. However, the first line is marriage is a foundation of a successful society. How could two things be true? Again, let's slow walk the dog, okay? All right. As we go through this, the next point they have here is the increase in the number of children receiving public assistance is closely related to the increase in births to unmarried women. Okay, now, if we just think about our current state in society, right? I don't think we are too far off from what this is saying. And be clear, they said 1965, This Clinton law was enacted in 1996. So I think for the most part, my audience was born around that time. Shit, my mom was born in 1965. So all I'm saying is all of this, although it was years ago, is still very relevant. And I struggle with this. I swear to y'all, I do. Because if I'm going to speculate about things, right, I have to take into consideration the time period of all of this, right? So 1965 to 1991, we have to think about everything that was going on in the world, right? So you had the crack era, you had clearly government assistance, you had feminism, you had all of these things that impacted the household where it should be two parents, but now it's one, and more than likely now it's just the mom, right? And then if you fast forward to 2024, now you have to think about not only do you have government assistance, this weird feminism thing going on, you have social media, right? Then you also have a society where the dating pool is so contaminated, so small that now you it's almost impossible, okay, to get a two-parent home. But let's just keep let's just keep digging into this. Now, I have my notes in front of me, so let me tell you, I had all type of research going on. So we gonna get through it. But if you see me looking down, looking up, I'm just trying to follow my notes because it was a lot, okay? It was a lot, and a lot of it made me upset. But I got through it. Okay? Next point, right? And I'm taking this slow because I'm getting somewhere. So just ride this with me, okay? I'm getting somewhere. The next point says, the total of all out of wedlock births between 1970 and 1991 has risen from 10.7% to 29.5%. And if the current trend continues, mind you, before I say this next sentence, mind you, this was back in 1996, August 22nd to be exact, because it's right there. If the current trend continues, 50% of all births by the year 2015 will be out of wedlock. So here's my thought. If in 1996 you could predict this, if the trend continues, if you could predict this, that it would increase by 50%, why did you feel the need to reform something that was already fucked up? Maybe we look at it and take a different approach. But reforming something that was already fucked up and not making it better just does not make sense to me, especially if you're trying to serve a specific demographic, if you catch my drift. And then the other part of that is I don't need any statistic, and I'm sure you don't as well, to tell you that, yeah, 50% by 2015, sure. And I bet it was over 50% by 2015. I'm thinking it had to hit like 75. 50, I don't know. Maybe they thought at some point it would change and there would be like a decline in the trend. Maybe it got worse. I mean, there's no way not to see that. Like, it got worse, okay? Worse and worse. So now we're reading through this and they're just talking about the ages of women who get pregnant and things like that. What struck me, okay, first thing I wrote down, what struck me, young women 17 and under. That's already crazy. 17 and under who give birth outside of marriage are more likely to go on public assistance and spend more years on welfare once enrolled. So again, Clinton, if you're getting all this information together, right? You're telling us all of that. that you learned and why you need to reform because of all these different points. Great. You have this information. Why were we not trying to be proactive in 1996 to curb this, to stop this, so girls 17 and under are not having babies? And then on top of that, like they like to point out, outside of marriage. I don't know. It just seems like that would have been something that we wanted to address and not make it easier and help them have babies. But okay. Next point that struck me. Children born out of wedlock are 3 times more likely to be on welfare when they grow up. Okay, Democrats. So you knew this? You knew it was going to be a trend. You knew it was going to be a lifelong thing. And you just said, well, let's make the bill better. Okay. All right. So, after all that, we get down to this sentence. And this is where I was like, okay, enough is enough. Because you read through it, and as you read through it, it's actually really sad that they predicted and said all of this stuff in 1996, but then continued on with the same shit. It doesn't make too much sense to me. But this was crazy. The negative consequences of raising children in a single parent home are well documented as follows. Are well documented. Okay. Only 9%, mind you, 1996, only 9% of married couples with children under 18 years old have income below the national poverty level. 9% unmarried. Children under 18, poverty. Cool. 46% of female-headed households with children under 18 years of age are below the national poverty level. Okay. All right. So, 9% married, they are below. 46% females, they are below. So it looks like if you're married and you have kids under the age of 18, you're probably not in poverty. But if you're a woman with no man in the household, you are probably below poverty. That to me is insane. And that's when it struck me. Where the fuck are the fathers? Where are they? You have all this research, all these things you could tell us about marriage and how it's great for the society. Where the fuck are the fathers? And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because that made me sick to my stomach. I'm not gonna lie to you, right? Where are the men? The men need to get back in the household. We can no longer do this thing of pretending we don't need men. Niggas ain't shit. We don't need them. They don't need us. We have to cut that all out, because 1996, they already told us what the shit looked like for us. 46% below poverty. Are you crazy? Like, they already told us 50% of all births by the year of 2015 will be out of wedlock. Where the fuck do you think we are in 2024? And where the fuck are the men? They have sold us this dream, y'all, and I hope to God y'all see it now. I hope to God y'all see it. As we get through this episode and as we talk more and as we discuss, I hope y'all see the shit that they're doing. There's no reason why men are in the household besides they're selling us all this propaganda, all this, I can do bad all by myself, Miss Independent, single ladies whole time. That bitch was married, but whatever. the truth of the matter is that we need the fathers. We don't need the government to help us out, because they're already telling us to be successful in society, you need a father in the household. To make money and not be in poverty, you need a father in the household. To not continue this trend of your kids being on welfare, you need a father in the household. But then somehow we listen to all of the shit we see online and we continue to believe that, oh no, I can do bad all by myself. I don't need a man in the household. Yes, mama, you do. And before y'all come for me and tell me, well, my mom did it and my mom took care of us and she made it work. Yeah, and my mom did too. Yep, she did. I know she's probably listening. Hey, girl. She did too. She was a divorced woman and she made it happen. Salute. Love that for her. But at the end of the day, we have to be real with ourselves and be honest. The man needs to be back into the household. And there's just no way to get around that. So spare me with the Miss Independent, strong black woman. I could do it all by myself, because let me tell you, the proof is there, babes. It's bullshit. They've sold you bullshit. Hey, I'm sorry, but that's it. It tells you, first line, first 2 lines. It tells you. They already knew. And somehow we still aren't understanding that all this shit is meant to keep you literally trapped in a cycle. They told you it was going to be a cycle. 3 times more likely to be on welfare when they grow up. That's a cycle. There's no way around it. That is a cycle. I'm sorry, I told you I got real angry. Because what they did was they made us sick and then made us believe that our sickness was somehow helping us, right? Like, you get sicker before you get better, but actually you are just getting worse. We're not getting better. We're getting worse. And don't even bring up social media and add that to the conversation. Please. But you know what? We're going to dig a little bit deeper, because the craziest thing to me is that I'm reading through this and I'm very proactive, right? I'm very proactive. So I'm reading through this and I'm like, okay, give me the solution, because somehow you thought reform means you're going to fix what was broke in the previous one, right? In Roosevelt Act, here you are going to come and you're going to fix it. Not to mention all the other things that I did not even mention. Let me see. Let's run them down. Before I even get to their solutions, let's run them down. The younger the single parent mother, the less likely she is to finish high school. Fabulous. Neighborhoods with larger percentages of youth aged 12 through 20 and areas with higher percentages of single parent households have higher rates of violent crime. Young women who have children before finishing high school are more likely to receive welfare assistance for a longer period of time. The absence of a father in the life of a child has a negative effect on school performance and peer adjustment. That to me was total fuckery. There's no way you're going to tell me the absence of a father only affects their relationship to school and their friends. See what I'm saying? They played in our face, because what? That's the only thing. That's the only thing. After you just told me all about poverty being a successful society, the only thing it affects is your school and your friendships. Get the fuck out of here. This is complete nonsense. It actually is complete nonsense. But you know what? Let's get into their solutions. Because that there, that's some crazy shit. So I'm reading through, right? And I'm like, And this is why, also let me tell you, this is why I didn't print the whole thing, because a lot of it was cap. They talked about some solutions and all they talked about was how the states would successfully get money from the federal government, right? So it was like, oh, you have to abide by all these guidelines, and that's how we then give you money. So they proposed, okay, the need to provide assistance to needy families so that children are cared for. That's the purpose of reforming this, right? The other purpose, end the dependency of needy parents on government benefits. First of all, when you read this, the language, needy, they call you poor. It's just, it is actually crazy when you read it. But anyways, and the dependence of needy parents on government benefits by promoting job preparation, work, and marriage. Prevent and reduce the indecency of out of wedlock pregnancies. Encourage the formation and maintenance of two-parent families. Now, when I read that, I thought, great. Because, like I said, right? While I'm reading, I said, okay, well, how are they going to be proactive? See, these are the questions you have to ask, right? When it comes to politics, you got to ask the questions. You can't just let something be what you heard. You know what I mean? Like if you hear something, go and ask the question why and read up on it. Because, not for nothing, once you start digging into these things and you just start seeing all the bullshit, you be like, oh, I see what you're doing here. I see. And it all be there once you just read, and they don't really want y'all to read. That's why a lot of children now, their reading levels are below average. That's why when I text children or I'm talking to the youth, I say spell your words out so you know how to spell it. Because when you get into the real world, when you get to college and you have to spell words, we don't need you not knowing how to spell the word because you've simply been taking out 3-4 letters at a time. So it's faster. Spell the full fucking word. Thanks. Anyways, I'm sorry. That is such a small little tangent, but it's a pet peeve. I hate it. Spell words correctly. Because then when you have to write something professionally, when you have to write a paper, when you need to send an email, when you need to fill out a job application, you actually know how to spell words correctly. Do you know how many times as an HR professional, I read through things and I just said the word through. People put THRU. Because BECUZ. Cuz CUZ on an application. It just it really don't make no sense. With WIT, WID. And now I'm sitting here trying to decipher what the fuck you mean because you're used to texting so fucking much that now when you have to fill out an actual piece of documentation, an application, a resume. I digress. But ooh, like they said, what did they say? The younger the single parent mother, the less likely she is to finish high school. Let's see here, because I do believe there was one about, children of teenage single parents have lower cognitive scores, lower educational aspirations, and a greater likelihood of becoming teenage parents themselves. Somehow the shit be full fucking circle. Anyways, we're gonna go back to exploring their solutions, huh? So their solution for engaged in work. Oh, stuck. Anyways, their solution for engaged in work. What does that mean? Well, in 1996, they considered engaged in work to be 20 hours per week. So that was how they were going to get people off. I'm sorry. That is how they were going to get people off of public assistance. If you could prove that you worked 20 hours per week, you were on track. And every year was going to increase. So from 1997, because this was towards the end of 1996, so they're saying, okay, 1997, 20 hours per week. By 2000, you'll be working 30. And the goal was to have these state agencies, right? These state agencies confirm this, track this, make sure people are working their 20 hours a week so their government assistance is lowered. However, before I get to that, however, two-parent families, they had to work 35 hours or not fewer than 30 hours. So 30 to 35 hours, that's how much they had to work in order to, stay on government assistance, but show that, you're working your way to being off of it. However, if you had children of a certain age, well, then you were excluded. That's where I got confused. Let me just read something to you. Okay. So if you had a certain number of children of a certain age, you were excluded. And that to me didn't make any sense because, if I'm on government assistance and I know that the government will take care of things, my health insurance, they're going to give me money for food because, yes, there was a food stamp act. They're going to pay for my rent and, all of these different benefits, right? They're going to step in and replace what should be the husband's role because marriage is a successful part of society. They're going to step in and do these things. However, I'm going to start to learn the system, right? If I'm a woman, 17, younger, I'm going to start to learn the system. And I'm going to know that, hey, if I keep a child under the age of 6, then I won't be required to engage in work. I won't be required to have to finish school and, continue my education because obviously I have a child who is under the age and I have to be here to assist this child and take care of this child. I can't leave a 3-year-old home alone, or I can't afford daycare because I have 2 kids who one is 4, one is 3, and I'm still pregnant. There's no way for me to be able to do that. And with this Clinton law, it clearly says the state cannot reduce or terminate assistance for people who have children basically under the age of 6 in their custody because the unavailability of a proper child care to sustain a child and to afford to be able to make arrangements. So basically, you can't go to work because you have to take care of this child. You can't go to school, like I said, because you have to take care of this child. All of these things. So let me tell you, that's where I was like, you thought you had me. So you mean to tell me I read all this shit, all of it. I read all of this shit just to get to this one paragraph where you say, I got it highlighted, where you say, well, if you have a baby under 6, they can't cancel you, and you don't really got to abide by our solutions. That's where they had me fucked up. Because again, you made a whole demographic, and yes, I'm going to point out the Black people because hello, Black. You made a full demographic sick, and then came back and said, oh, I will help you. I will help you. Here's what you need to do. Get a job. Finish getting your education. But if you keep a baby under 6, you won't have to get a job and you won't have to get an education. But then also, we will know that this will continue as a trend. And that is why I say, where the fuck is your daddy? Where is your pappy? Where is the man? Where is the husband? Okay? Where is he? Why is he no longer an integral part of the household? Because we've been told all of the wrong things. And we champion welfare and we champion women who are young and out here and trying to get it. No, mama. You don't need it. I hear stories of women who have been successful and not had to get government assistance because you know what they went and did? They went and worked their asses off. But somehow we keep getting caught up in voting for these Democrats who do dumb shit like this, who sell us dumb shit like this. This is completely stupid. This is stupid. Because they went and they told us through 10 fucking pages about how terrible it would be to have the man outside of the household and how terrible it is for young girls to have kids out of wedlock. But then say, don't worry, we are going to reform this because we are going to make sure that you needy, broke ass parents get a job and get an education. But if you keep a baby under 6, don't got to worry about it. That literally negates everything you're saying you're trying to reform. Because once you find that out, then baby, you just pimp the system. And right before that baby turns 7, you pop another one out. I just simply don't understand. And I want us to fully understand why it is so important to have a man in the household. I don't care if he white, I don't care if he black, I don't care if he Asian, I don't care if he's Spanish. Child, I don't care. Let's get back to that first sentence. Where is it? Hold on. Sentence number 1. Marriage is the foundation of a successful society because they already fucking told you. That is how we become successful. That is how we become powerful. That is how we stop this sick cycle of being fucking in poverty, looking for a handout from the government, being like, well, help me, please. Fuck no. They made you sick and they keep making you sick, but then they try to sell it to you like it's not, because then you have all this propaganda of niggas ain't shit and I could do bad all by myself and I'm a city girl and I don't need niggas for shit and I could do whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop de whoop. Baby, you're sick. Take this as your medicine. That shit ain't working. Go ahead, do your research, figure this shit out, and go and get yourself a job. Bitch, get an education. And with the government assistance and being a single mother and all of that, let me tell you, it's a lot of shit the government is willing to pay for, but that's not what they're going to tell you. That's not what they're going to tell you. All them grants and federal funding, that's not what they're going to tell you about. What they're going to tell you about is the money to keep the man outside of the home. Because what a little birdie told me is that if they do find that a man is in the home, unless it's a 2-parent household and both of y'all only work 35 hours a week, then we could make that work. But if y'all are in this home making a certain type of income, oh yeah, no, we're going to cut that off. And then so you say, well, I could get free money or I could have to work. I'm going to take free money. It's a lot of people who are going to take free money over having to work, not realizing that free money is keeping you sick. I'm telling you, this is your medicine and your wake-up call. Where the fuck are those kids' daddies? Where the fuck are they? And if it's 4, 5, 6, you better go figure out which one you want to pick. Because one of them got to be a good dude. You know what I'm saying? One of them got to be. I will hope so. And go pick one of them and make it work. Or we're going to be a society that remains sick. A society that still listens to the bullshit and the propaganda from the media, from the music, from the movies. Every single time you turn on a movie, the bitch single, stressing, need a man. Every time you listen to a song, she turned up, fuck a nigga, I don't need no niggas, ain't Every single time. Every single fucking time. Somehow we've gotten away from the love songs. The love songs, they don't even sing about loving women no more. They singing about all this toxic, hurt bullshit. Why? Why is that pushed? They took the crack era and served it to us differently. It's the same thing. Separate, divide, keep us away from each other. No. Don't let them get reunited. Keep them away from each other. Don't let them learn how to get better. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Not for nothing. The OG definitely was going to help us get better. Once people started listening, he was going to get us aligned. He was going to get us right. And I think that is the scary part. Is once you start having the message of get better, here's how you get better. Here's the harsh truth. Here's how you get better. Somehow your demise always come, but I digress. We definitely have to start looking at what is making us sick as Black people, for sure. We have to pay attention to what is making us sick. And that's why when I was reading through this and I'm seeing them say, yep, it's bad for the father to be out of the home. Yep, you gonna stay broke if the father not there. Yep, you gonna be below poverty. Yep, your kids ain't ever gonna be educated. Yep, you gonna keep being on this welfare. Yep, we gonna keep giving you money if you keep popping out the babies. Shit, we want you to have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. So they just then repeat the cycle. Because let me tell you, if you have 6 kids who grow up in a house where the mom was on welfare, the grandmother was on welfare, what do you think those 6 kids are going to be in the future? Well, according to this bill from 1996, those 6 kids are also 3 times more likely to what? Be on welfare. So now that's just a whole nother 6 kids in a generation of family on welfare. But somehow we are missing the point of us being fucking sick. And this is not to simply bash welfare, because I do believe, small part of me, small part of me believes that they may have really tried to do something good. I think, hey, this could have came about around a time of a war, and this could have came about at a time where, you know, things were shaky, and maybe it was the Great Depression. You know, I didn't get too far into it because, bitch, I got pissed off just reading this from 1996. I'm not gonna lie to you. So that's me speculating. Maybe that was all that it was, right? But I struggle with that because we are far past that. And for you to then say in 2015 it would be at 50%, that means you already knew we were far beyond what it was originally supposed to do. So for you to reform it and then put that paragraph in there about, oh, but if you have a baby under 6, well, shit. I'm going to wrap up this discussion simply by saying, make sure that this episode serves as some sort of medicine for you, because I can't tell you how frustrating it is to see Black, beautiful women be so sick and not realize it. Be so sick. And it's so crazy because then we'll, in a very lackadaisical way, say, oh, more baby showers than weddings, as if that is fucking normal. That is not normal. If you look at our white counterparts, babe, they're married. Sure, they may have high divorce rates because, again, like I said, this is a cyclical thing, right? So we are looking at different trends where we're knowing that there's government assistance to make it happen for us, you know? So not for nothing, we as Black women need to focus on how to make ourselves stronger. Make sure that we aren't sick. Like I always say, do the fucking work so that then we can bring our Black men, okay, back into the household. And that's where it needs to start. Because the thing is that we have sick single women raising Black boys who grow up to be sick and date other sick single Black women. And that's the part that's fucked up. That is the part that's truly fucked up. So hopefully this will serve as some type of medicine for you to understand that we are in a fucked up place, but we can get better. once we realize the condition that we are in. Now it's going to be time for some headlines. I only got two things for y'all because, I said a little bit of pop culture. Sometimes I don't really care to get all into it. Just a little touch, especially when it relates. So the first thing that I'm going to jump into is Sexxy Red. Now, if you know me, you know Sexxy is an Aries, so I support all my Aries women. Love them because I love being an Aries. However, this is still super, super relative. Like I said, sometimes it just goes full circle. Now, I'm not sure what Sexxy was doing at this school that she supposedly got kicked out of. I'm not sure why she was there. I'm not sure why she showed up. I'm not sure. I just don't fucking know, and I don't really care. The part that really annoyed me was the fact that she then addressed why she got kicked out. Girl, okay, whatever. But then you decided, oh, they're going to kick me out. So now I'm going to, and I don't know, I'm hoping it was a high school. That's where I'm going to stand and say it was a high school. The kids did look big, but whatever. You decided that you were going to, I'm pretty sure, go out the moon roof and start twerking and popping around, titties all out, twerking at the school in the parking lot. I struggle with that. And I struggle with that because what is the representation here? You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of shit be going on, and I'm just trying to figure out what is the representation? What are you trying to show and prove? What is it? Because twerking at the school, that ain't it, mama. If your thing is to say, look where I've come and look where I'm going, we'll do that in a setting where you are sitting down talking to these kids and you're saying it in a way that relates to them. But doing your song, get it sexy, all of this bullshit, and you dancing and twerking on top of the car, the aspirations are fucking wrong. They're wrong. And I get it. We want to be the fun, turned up, hood rat girl, and, we're super relatable. Everyone loves us. I get it. But also be clear that they think you're a fucking joke, not for nothing. And so you think, oh, it's so fun, and I'm just being me, and I'm just being sexy, and I get that, but we have to understand that although we aren't all role models or all trying to be role models, you still have a responsibility. And there still is a thing where don't let these people make you out to be a caricature of yourself. You came into the game being authentic and being you. And now what they're doing is they're blowing it up to where you're not you. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, here's this really cute and fun thing about you, but now let's make it basically a parody. You know what I mean? Like, if you saw yourself on like an SNL skit, that's basically how your career is looking, like an SNL skit. Instead of looking authentic and you, is looking like a joke. It's looking like they're putting money behind this to be like, oh, they love this ghetto ratchet shit, so let's put money behind it, and it looks like a joke. And I don't want that for you. I just don't want that for you. I think you are such a talented woman. You clearly know what you're doing. You are super authentic, but you're letting them make you out to be a joke. When I say caricature, what it is, when you go to like a carnival and you sit down and they draw you and they exaggerate your features, and if you have like big lips, make them a little bit bigger, and if you have like a super arched brow, they make it really arched. That's what they're doing. They're exaggerating you in a way that is so inauthentic, and it's like really kind of, it's off-putting. Right? It's off-putting. So to then serve that up to children whose minds are so impressionable is kind of fucked up. Okay? It's just a little, ooh, that just reminded me. Let me tell y'all what dawns on me. Let me jump back real fucking quick. Do y'all remember 16 and Pregnant? When I was reading through this, full circle again, when I was reading through this, I said, God damn. They had a whole show on MTV called 16 and Pregnant where they turned these young girls into celebrities because they were 16 and pregnant. And that's wild to me. It's really fucking wild because then if you look at the women that they've become, oh, child. One of them, wasn't she like, her face is completely different. She like went into porn. Another one, I just saw her. I'm pretty sure I saw her on TikTok and she got like 7 kids now. It is, I'm telling you, the cycle is fucking insane and we have to see it. But anyways, I digress. I'm jumping back into headlines. That just dawned on me and I wanted to share that with y'all. Now, my last headline is to really kind of close the gap on this, right? So over the weekend, it was obviously Easter, the 31st. Joe Biden did his declaration for Trans Visibility Day. The Christians were outraged. They were pissed. But, you know, I'm not one to just simply read a headline and get upset. Let me go do my Googles. So I Google it. Now I run across the article by AP News. What does AP News say? Everyone's upset. We're outraged. We're in an uproar. But Biden has done this every single year since he's been president. And what did they have? The facts. Love it. Every single year that he's been president, they showed his declaration for trans visibility. So now it's like, whoa, you're upset about nothing. The day of Easter, I guess, changes every year. So it just so happened to fall on Easter with the Declaration of Trans Visibility. I don't know why we're upset. Next year, Easter's going to be on a different day. Trans visibility is going to be on a different day. And we can just move on. But again, what happens is, and they know they've conditioned us to do this, we see a headline, we read the headline, we run with the headline. We do not go and do our research. We do not go and dig in further. We do not go and look for the proof, the documentation. We just read the headline, run with the narrative. And that is bad because they can tell us any fucking thing and we'll believe it and go for it because we're not going to dig in deeper. We're not going to look further. We're going to look at what is there and just move the fuck on. But when we start pulling shit up and we start reading through it and we start dissecting it, oh baby, then and only then do we learn what the fuck is going on. So as we get into this presidential campaign, as things start to come up, as things are proposed, as things are spoken about, look it up. Don't be scared to look it up. Don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to Google. If you see something in there and it references something, Google that. Figure that out, okay? Because I'm telling you, Cat Williams had it right. You gotta read it, Google it, Google it, Google it, Google it, because at the end of the day, it's going to give you a much better picture of what's going on. So when I say I'm upset about Sexxy Red busting open and ass and titty shaking in front of what I hope are high schoolers, you will understand the bigger picture of what we are being exposed to, what we are being sold, the propaganda, the bullshit. You got these big fucking media companies, not only the music, the movies, our television, everything is telling us the same thing. And because we are so fucking dense, we believe that it's our reality, and it's not our reality. The reality is in the middle of all of the shit that they want to hide up. That's the real reality. The real reality is they know we can get better. But if they keep shoving the bullshit to us, we won't. That is the truth. But hey, who am I? Who am I to tell you that you're fucking sick? Who am I to tell you that you can't get better? And who am I to tell you that you can prosper and have a successful marriage in society? Who the fuck am I? People are doing it. But only those who are hip to the fucking reality that, hey, it doesn't have to be this way. But again, I just give you guys what I learned. Do with it what you will. I hope you take this as medicine and get better. I promise I do. And on that note, I'm out of here. Baby, stay dangerous, stay prayed up, and always, always, always remain a classic. Until then, I'll see you next time.